Hello，大家好，咁歡迎大家再講多次，歡迎大家參加今次我哋由 Top Courses 舉辦嘅英國升學講座啦。咁介紹翻我自己先啦，咁我係 Vivian 啦，咁就係 Top Courses 嘅教學升學顧問嚟嘅。咁其實 Top Courses 咧咁其實我哋 Top Courses 咧係一間英國註冊嘅公司啦，咁我哋係會專做英國升學嘅服務嘅，咁希望可以幫助到國際學生喺英國嘅升學裏邊啦，無論喺選擇啊或者申請嘅過程裏邊更加順利，有我哋嘅幫手，咁就可以入到自己嘅心儀學校啦，開始翻喺英國升讀嘅課程嚟嘅。咁我哋代辦嘅課程啦，無論有寄宿學校啊、日校啊、大專大學都會有嘅。咁今日咧，我哋就除咗會，sorry 啊，咁今日咧，我哋會除咗會再講解翻究竟香港啦同埋英國嘅教育體系究竟會有咩分別啊，或者好多家長都會問，其實因為英國嘅教育機構有好多種類啦，咁究竟應該為小朋友揀公立學校好啊，定私立學校好咧？咁我哋轉頭都會講解翻嘅。咁今日咧亦都好開心啦，可以請到有4間私立大學咧同私立學校啦，就同大家分享翻佢哋嘅學校啊，同埋介紹翻佢哋嘅。咁除咗學校之外啦，相信各位家長都會有另一個問題，就係嚟到英國啊，或者嚟英國之前，究竟租樓啊或者買樓啊，會點樣可以會有啲問題啊？究竟會唔會影響到小朋友佢個選擇學校嘅環境啊，或者情況係點啊？又應該點樣去選擇翻你哋定居嘅地方咧？咁我哋今日最後啦，亦都好開心請到有2間英國移民嘅物業顧問啦，同我哋分享翻多啲資訊俾大家嘅，所以大家可以記得留到最後聽啦。咁好啦，咁首先就係講翻啦，咁其實 ，sorry 啊，咁其實咧英格蘭啦、威爾斯啦同埋北愛爾蘭嘅教育制度咧，其實咧你會睇翻個表咧，其實同有少少未改制之前嘅香港其實有啲似嘅，咁就完成咗幼稚園之後啦，大致咧升學其實會分為3個階段啦，包括就係6年小學、5年嘅中學同埋2年嘅預科嘅。咁喺小學生至到初中嘅階段咧，小朋友咧就需要分別3年咧去應考翻呢個 SAT 啦，就類似我哋香港嘅學能測試，就係會被視為升中試其中一個測試佢哋嘅能力嘅。而當中咧，其實咧你會見到 Year 即係相對翻香港嘅中三咧，其實會係好多私立學校主要嘅收生嘅年度嘅，因為佢哋喺 Year 10同埋 Year 11咧，即係相對翻舊制嘅中4、中5啦，就會完成翻呢個會考課程，再喺12同埋第13班就會完成翻高考啦，咁就會去考翻英國嘅大學嘅。咁另外啦，咁除咗私立學校之外咧，公立學校咧主要嘅收生年咧將會係 Year 7，即係香港嘅中一啦，咁就係會好多公立學校主要嘅收生年啦。咁當中咧就會分為 Selected School， 即係一啲精英嘅學校啦，同埋一啲 Non-Selected School， 即係一啲普通嘅學校嘅。咁前者即係 Selected School 啦，咁就會設有呢個招生考試，即係大家都會聽到嘅 11 Plus 嘅考試啦。咁呢一個考試咧，其實會喺 Year 6嗰時嘅9月期間會進行嘅。當中咧其實會測試翻學生嘅能力啦，作為取錄嘅條件之一嘅。咁你會見到啦，其實當完成咗 Year 11之後咧，其實學生咧就要參加翻英國嘅綜合會考，即係 GCSE 嘅考試嘅。喺呢個考試其實同以前嘅香港會考啦差唔多啦，大部分學生咧就會選擇修讀7至10科嘅。咁完成咗佢嘅GCSE 之後咧，咁佢哋學生咧就需要報考 A level 嘅，就似香港以前嘅高考啦。咁就可以透過 A level 嘅成績咧去報讀翻個大學嘅。咁但係個課程咧就唔學得好似香港以前咁樣要翻文科啊、理科嘅。咁其實學生咧可以根據翻佢哋自己嘅升學意向啦，修讀3至4科，只要3科合格咧，咁就符合資格咧去升讀英國嘅大學嘅。咁另外啦，因為其實而家都好多可能會突然間會有小朋友會嚟英國插班啦，咁尤其是係一啲比較尷尬嘅年齡，即係佢哋嘅中學嘅中5啦、中4啦、中6啦。呢啲比較尷尬啲嘅年齡啦，咁所以其實咧部分嘅英國私立學校啦，或者一啲 boarding school 啦，其實佢哋會有一啲比較彈性啲嘅高考啊，或者 GCSE 課程嘅，咁就會係1年制啊，或者5年制啦，咁就俾一啲英文水平會比較好同埋成績優秀嘅學生咧，咁就可以較短時間去完成翻佢哋嘅 GCSE 同埋 A level 嘅成績嘅。 咁明白咗英國嘅教育制度之後啦，咁我哋就可以了解翻其實英國學校咧嘅種類啦。其實往往簡單啲嚟講，其實英國學校可以分為兩種啦，就係公立學校 State School 同埋私立學校 Independent School 嘅。咁當中咧，其實公立學校咧再有細分四大種啦，咁就類似香港嘅直資啊、津校、官校等等嘅概念嘅。咁第一個啦，咁就係 Maintained School 啦，咁就係類似香港嘅官校嘅。咁其實佢呢啲Maintained School 喺英國咧，其實係由地區政府咧去直接出資啦，學校咧係需要根據呢個全國嘅教學大綱咧去到制定課程嘅。咁佢哋每一班嘅人數其實唔可以超過30人啦。咁但係學校咧亦都唔可以因為根據佢哋嘅學業成績咧嚟決定取唔取錄嘅。咁第二樣啦，就係 Academic and Free School 啦，就會類似比較香港嘅津校同埋直資學校啦。咁其實 Academic School 咧就係由國家直接透過教育部去到資助嘅，而唔係透過地區政府嘅資助啦。咁所以其實學校可以自行成立一個教育信託嘅機構，同埋一個理事會去到管理學校啦。包括佢哋可以自己請教職員啊，或者自行決定翻收生嘅要求嘅。咁另外 free school 啦，其實都係由國家直接資助嘅 state school 啦。咁呢一類學校其實同 academic school 都差唔多，佢哋都可以自己決定個教職員啊，或者自己決定個假期啊，同埋個上課時間嘅，亦都唔需要根據呢個全國教學大綱去到制定課程嘅。但係呢一類學校咧就唔會設有收生嘅限制嘅。咁第三樣啦，應該都好多家長想小朋友入㗎啦，就係 grammar school 啦。咁 grammar school 就類似香港嘅比較出名嘅名校啦。咁其實呢啲學校咧，其實佢都係由地區政府資助，但係咧佢哋就唔同上邊嗰啲 school 一樣啦。咁佢哋就可以按照翻佢哋自己指定嘅考試課程去到收生啦。咁佢喺收生方面咧，其實比較嚴謹嘅，因為其實佢教學上咧係會比較着重翻學生嘅學術表現啦。咁所以其實佢你報讀之前咧就要報我哋所講嘅 11+ 嘅考試嘅，咁就包括考試範圍會係數學啊、英文啊同埋推理能力嘅。咁仲有最尾一樣咧，就係 faith school 啦，即係有宗教背景嘅學校啦。咁呢啲學校咧，其實都會有自行嘅收生程序，亦都可以按照自己嘅情況啦去請教職員嘅。咁其實佢成個運作咧就會比較似 Maintained School 嘅。咁雖然咧其實任何人都可以申請 faith school 嘅，但係如果小朋友係會具有呢個宗教嘅背景啊，或者屋企人係可以證明到其實佢係信奉呢個宗教咧，其實佢獲錄取嘅機會咧就會比較高嘅。咁第二種啦，咁就係私立學校 Independent School 啦，咁就有翻 International School 同埋Independent School 啦。其實 International School 咧就係比較會多啲嚟自唔同地方嘅學生啦，咁佢哋就會識採用翻佢哋嘅學習同埋採用態度咧去英國教育同埋各地銜接嘅課程嘅，而比較多啲咧其實就係私立學校 Independent School 啦。咁其實呢啲學校咧都係會喺財務上啊、管理上都獨立啦，所以其實佢哋會收費咧，亦都唔使根據剛才頭先嗰啲學校所宗隨嘅國家課程嘅指引嘅。咁好啦，咁究竟其實如果你通常睇完一大輪之後，咁究竟幫下小朋友應該要揀英國嘅中小學應該點樣衡量佢嘅好處同壞處？即係邊間學校好啲啊，邊間學校唔好啲咧？咁喺如果你係公立學校嘅話，其實可以睇翻呢一個網站 Upset 啦，咁就其實係一個非政府嘅部門嚟嘅。咁其實你上翻去呢個網啦，咁就可以 search 翻你哋一個就首先你有個 area 先，即係決定住喺邊度啦。咁你其實可以 search 翻你個 postcode，跟住佢就會彈晒一系列你 postcode 附近嘅 state school 啦。咁你就可以睇翻究竟邊一間 state school 係好啲啊，邊一間 state school 唔好啲嘅。咁至於 independent school 私立學校咧，就會有一個獨立嘅學校監察啦，就係 ISC 啦。咁 ISI 咧就係負責監察呢個私立付費學校嘅，亦都可以監察翻佢哋究竟邊啲排名會比較好啲咧。咁就呢個咧就係頭先我所講嘅 offset 啦。咁例如話你已經決定咗係住喺邊度啦，例如 Sheffield 嘅，咁你可以 enter 翻佢個 code 啦，咁就撳翻 search 啦。咁例如話 Sheffield 之後咧，咁你會見到呢度有一大紮 school 嘅。咁其實佢會有寫喺度啦，係 outstanding school 啊，定係佢係一啲 good school 啊。咁 outstanding 係 最好啦。通常 outstanding 同埋 good 就係比較好啲嘅學校啦。咁你 click 翻入去間學校咧，其實佢有好多學校嘅成績可以睇嘅。咁但係注意其實咧 offset 嘅 rating 咧，其實未必一定係 update 嘅，因為有啲 outstanding school 咧，其實可能佢係因為已經列入咗 outstanding 啦，可能會幾年都冇 update 一次個最新成績，咁未必可以真係反映到佢而家個小朋友嘅學生，即係佢哋嘅成績係點啦。所以最好咧就係上翻佢哋嘅網校去睇翻佢哋嘅成績，或者可以了解佢哋更多嘅。咁好啦，其實大家都會知道，其實英國嘅學校其實公立啊、私立啊，其實都會有分別。
Sorry, everyone. I think Vivian, for some reason, just logged out. Probably an internet problem. Hopefully, she will log back in very quickly. Let's wait maybe a minute. Oh, yeah, she's back. Sorry about that. You can continue, Vivian. No problem. I will make you the host. Sorry.
頭先個網絡有少少問題，佢自己彈咗出去。
Okay, you can share your screen.
好啦，咁頭先就講到啦，係啦，而家應該聽到啦。咁其實公立學校啦，究竟幫小朋友揀公立學校定私立好，其實有咩分別咧？咁其實佢哋喺教育嘅體系其實都會有存在差異嘅。咁其實有3大類啦。咁其實第一樣分別當然係學費啦，因為其實喺公立學校啦，其實喺小學直至初中嘅9年級咧，其實學校都係免費，所以其實大部分英國嘅學生咧都會係讀翻公立學校嘅。而私立學校咧，因為佢嘅資金主要來源都係一啲校友嘅捐贈啦，同埋學生嘅費用，所以相對上咧學費會比較貴啦。大約平均學費1年就15,000至19,000磅左右嘅。但係其實好多英國嘅 local 咧，其實佢哋嘅家長都會將佢哋小朋友送去私立學校啦。其實點解咧？因為其實私立學校係會走精英嘅路線啦，同埋好多因為英國嘅皇室啊、首相啊，甚至好多英國嘅名人咧，其實都係畢業喺啲私立學校嘅，所以其實亦都係佢哋嘅招牌啦。第二樣啦，就係佢哋嘅學生人數同埋師生比例其實都好唔同啦。其實公立學校就似香港咁樣，大約其實一班有30個啦。咁其實一個老師會睇幾十個學生都唔出奇。咁所以其實佢哋未必可以真係 focus 到每一個學生佢哋會有咩需要啊，或者可以關注到佢哋，亦都未必一次過可以睇得晒啦。咁所以其實佢哋學生攞到嘅教學資源其實都唔會及私立學校嘅學生多嘅。咁所以其實私立學校最引以為傲其實就係佢哋嘅小班教學制度啦。其實一班裏邊咧最多只會有20個或者係9個嘅啫。所以你會喺上網 search 啊，見到啲私立學校其實佢哋一間其實最多都會得1000人左右嘅啫。所以其實佢哋嘅好處就係有老師可以有更多嘅精力去照顧佢哋嘅學生啦，同埋有啲私立學校咧，亦都會標榜住就係佢哋會針對唔同學生咧去作出翻教學調整。例如話有啲學生可能佢英文會比較差嘅，咁可能老師就會 focus 翻多啲佢英文，按應翻佢哋唔同學生嘅需要去作出翻教學嘅調整啦。咁另外其實私立學校會比較着重翻學生全方位嘅發展嘅。咁除咗學業上啦，亦都會注重翻其他嘅發展，例如話可能小朋友中意踢足球嘅，或者可能中意玩其他課外活動嘅，其實都會培養翻佢哋啦，培養翻佢哋比較全能型嘅學生嘅。咁第三樣啦，當然就係佢哋嘅考試嘅結果啦。咁攞 GCSE 同 A Level 嚟講啦，其實私立學校學生攞到 A+，即係最高級別嘅學生，其實係英國整體水平嘅2倍啦。咁成個私立學校學生攞 A+ 嘅 percentage 咧，其實達到47.9% 嘅。而雖然私立學校嘅學生咧，其實佔全部學生嘅7% 左右啦，但係其實佢哋攞到 A grade 嘅其中有35% 咧係來自私立學校嘅。而 A Level 嚟講咧，其實喺全英國排名嚟講啦，頭100名嘅學校裏邊咧，其實私立學校佔咗90% 啦。喺頭300名裏邊咧，大約就佔咗80% 左右。所以其實你都會見到喺考 GCSE 或者 A Level 咧，其實私立學校嘅考生咧都會有更好嘅表現嘅。咁其實 頭先都講過，其實公立學校啊、私立學校其實都有佢哋嘅好處啦、唔好處啦。咁但係其實揀學校嗰時候，究竟應該揀公立啊定私立學校咧？其實衡量咧，其實除咗排名之外，因為其實中小學就唔同得大學咁樣有一啲比較 standard 嘅排名啦。因為其實佢哋嘅排名都有好多唔同嘅。根據唔同嘅嘢去比較，咁就更加比大學更加虛無化啦。咁所以其實咧，考慮排名之外，其實都要睇翻嗰間學校嘅辦學理念啊、校園風氣啊、學校資源係點樣。咁你就可以根據翻呢啲去揾翻屬於啱自己小朋友嘅學校啦。因為例如話，首先啦，其實嚟到可能你要訂立翻究竟你自己定居喺邊咧，即係可能會有啲家長就因為倫敦可能會多工作機會多啲，咁所以係會住翻倫敦附近嘅地方啊，例如話雷丁啊或者倫敦市中心咁樣啦。咁就要考慮翻第一就係決定咗自己嘅位置喺邊啦。咁究竟嗰個生活成本啊又係點啊？或者可能小朋友即係想可能會多啲local 嘅學生嘅，咁可能又要睇翻佢哋個百分比啊，或者其實你哋住嗰個 area 究竟附近係點樣嘅咧？咁同埋可以留意翻個學生人數啊、比例啊等等啦。咁同埋而家其實咧好多學校都會有開放日啦，咁可能咧就可以係一啲 virtual 嘅 open day 啦，咁就可以參加多啲，了解翻嗰間學校究竟係點啊咁樣嘅。咁今日咧就大致講到咁啦，咁我哋而家呢個環節就可以交俾4間私立學校去分享翻佢哋啦。咁我哋而家好開心就可以請到 Brookhouse College 嘅 Karen 同埋 Craven 同大家打招呼先。Karen，hi。
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So, from my language skills, I think you introduced me and you want me to go ahead. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Caroline, for from Brookhouse College to join us for the seminar today. Yeah, so please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So welcome everybody. I'm really pleased that I've been invited to talk alongside with top courses today. So thank you to Mausi and to Vivian for the invitation. We've worked together for quite a long time now, haven't we, Mausi? So you know us fairly well. And I also want to just introduce a colleague of mine who may or may not be on the line. He's trying to multitask on several counts at the moment. But my colleague Trevor Wong is actually from Hong Kong, but based here in the UK now. So we also have a Cantonese speaker, should that be required. And we have Mandarin speakers as well, if we have anybody joining the webinar from a Mandarin speaking region. So the first slide then, Brookhouse College. So this is where it all began 54 years ago. Vivian, can you move me forward, or can I move myself forward? And this is Brookhouse and Market Harborough. Market Harborough town, you can see behind me, it's my Zoom. Kindly prepared for us by Mausi, I have to say, because she instructed me how to do that, because she's got hers and I wanted to work out how I could do it. And she gave me such wonderful, in the early days of Zoom, when we were all trying to catch up, she gave me wonderful instructions on how best to do that. Can I have the next slide, please? Brookhouse College is situated right in the centre of Market Harborough, and this is our main campus, but we are a town campus, so we are spread out, our buildings are spread out over this very, very safe area. So I'm just going to change my view of the of what we're looking at so that I can.
And Caroline, if you want to share your PowerPoint, that should be fine as well. You have the right to do that, actually, if you have the PowerPoint.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
If you go to like share screen, and then you can share with everyone your PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay, just bear with me one moment then if I'm going to share mine. I did have it ready and then exit.
No problem at all. Take your time.
So I just want to go back.
So Vivian, can you tell the attendees that some presentation will be in English and some will be in Cantonese? Yeah. You're on mute.
咁因為嚟緊咧，我哋邀請到私立學校有啲可能咧就會講翻用英文嘅，咁而家就係會 Brookhouse College 嘅 Karen 咧，佢就會 share 翻喺 Brookhouse College 介紹翻佢間學校啦。咁所以可能有啲嚟緊會有啲用英文啦，有啲會用廣東話去分享俾大家嘅。大家如果有咩問題咧，最尾我哋可以有 Q&A session 啦，或者你可以隨時 WhatsApp 我問多啲都 OK。
So we have this fantastic location of being situated in this very small, safe town of Market Harborough, and I have to say that our Hong Kong parents love it here. So as soon as they drop their children off, they intend to not stay very long because maybe they're running businesses, and more often than not they're looking for ways of staying, working remotely, maybe using the opportunity of the BNO and transferring over. So I think we've got 3 Hong Kong parents just at the moment who are looking to stay permanently and are working remotely and really avoiding going back do the 21-day quarantine. They're sort of saying they might as well stay here and work for a while and then return. So boarding school, wow, when you're talking to your children about boarding school, I'm sure that often they have visions of a Harry Potter style boarding school and accommodation. And this is where I have to correct people really and say, actually, our accommodation is more like this. Do we need anybody having translations as we go along, or am I okay just waltzing along in English?
I think it's okay, yeah, in English. A lot of Hong Kong parents do speak English.
When I've been there, everyone speaks English, so so thank you. So this is a sterile looking photograph of some of our examples of accommodation. They were taken at the time when they were prepared, ready for new students to arrive. We always encourage our students to personalise their accommodation by putting posters and maybe their own quilt cover and having their own things around. If anybody is interested in seeing more about the accommodation, what it looks like, and a virtual tour, there is a link in the presentation to go onto the website for the virtual tour. Again, parents often say to me, is it mixed accommodation like we've seen in Harry Potter and in films? And no, it's not. It is more single accommodation, single rooms en suite where we can, and it's common rooms that are single gender. Again, there's a YouTube video here for anyone to look at in their own time and check it out. We can always look if we have time throughout the presentation, but I doubt we will. But, okay, so the ethos of the school, we've got over 60 different nationalities, and a quick count up this morning, we've got 65 nationalities, and many of them are British. We're a non-selective international boarding college, so that means that if we do have any entrance tests or assessments, they are really to assess where best to place the student within the school. So that is how we use our assessment, not to say yes or no in terms of achieving a benchmark in order to ascertain a place within the school. We have pre-sessionals available and English language support. So even if a student is from an English-speaking nation, sometimes they might want to improve their English in terms of study skills English, ready to take an IELTS test for university, or just to improve their written English communication for assignments and exams and the like. We have flexible entry and study, and we've got a co-curricular program, extracurricular program, which we call our enrichment program, which is, we've invested more money in it this year. So there really are lots of exciting opportunities for your children to participate in over and above the study aspect of the school. We are preparing students for university. So many of our students, a high number, go to Russell Group universities, and many are going overseas as well. If you're not aware of Russell Group universities, they are like the UK version of Ivy League universities in the US. It depends on whether, as parents, you've studied overseas or you've investigated study overseas, as to your awareness as to what they are. Out of 42 applications, 41 offers were made from Russell Group universities last year. So there is a lot that are going to the top universities. We have excellent results, and these have increased each year since we actually applied this baseline testing. So this baseline testing, we test every student that enters the school to see where they are and how we can anticipate what their final grades would be. And we want to increase value on that. So if it's anticipated that they would be a B student, we want to get them to A student. We have small classes, so they're getting a high level of individual attention. A lot of opportunity for one-to-one learning with objectives and personal tutoring system. And we're in this supportive environment. It is a home from home feel. It's a small school, it's a family business, and it's a family owned school. It has been for 54 years. We're not part of a great big organisation. We just are a small business and a small school. And that, I think, shows in terms of the level of commitment of the staff and the level of number of staff that are in direct contact with the students throughout their time with us. And also keeping in touch with parents, and the fact that parents and students who've already left still like to keep in touch with us. So if they're an alumni, they're still in touch with us as well. There'll be an opportunity for high-level careers guidance to help them progress through to top universities. And we have our own universities fair, which is actually going to be called a Futures Fair as of next year. High concern for welfare and pastoral support. So there's a lot of attention being paid to good mental health. We know that there are lots of research that's come out after the pandemic saying that young people as well as adults are showing high levels of anxiety, and we're paying a lot of attention to well-being at the school. We've proven how proactive we can be as a school throughout the pandemic, whether that's applying the policies that have been issued from the government, from the World Health Organization, from the Boarding Schools Association, whether students have needed to stay with us longer or return home very quickly. We've been very proactive and implementing the right thing for that student and for that family. Our catering is on a 7-day-a-week basis, 3 hot meals a day, all included in the fees. Tea, coffee, snacks, biscuits, fruit, it's all in there as well. We're providing catering for an elite football academy, so we know that the food is good with plenty of choice and a fusion of international flavours, really. The boarding, we are largely boarding, so around about 95% at the moment are boarding with us full-time, 7 days a week. We don't really do weekly boarding, and we do have a few day students. Pastoral care, as I say, highly looked after. So if you've got your child in boarding accommodation, then you will have a residential tutor who's taking care of them 24/7. Our day numbers are increasing slightly, and I think this is a trend because more and more families are thinking, how can they move to the area, move to the UK, and therefore have their children in day school as opposed to a boarding, but know that they can opt for some boarding weeks if they have to go away on business. So we're very flexible with that regard. The students who are registered with us are also able to have any health care through the National Health Service. So this is not only us at Brooke House, but any school. And at Brooke House, we have our own medical centre, we have our nurse, our physio, and our sports psychologist as well. Again, in terms of the timing, this is a video that you could have a look at in your own time, or I can show you at the end. We have a new principal this year, Mr. Ian Smith, and he's brought two very innovative projects. One is high performance learning. I'm sure you will have heard of gifted and talented students, but this is recognising that every student in the school will be treated as a high performance learner and will be given the tools to excel in their particular area. And another project is this 8 billion ideas, which is about developing entrepreneurial skills within students and to go forward as global citizens in the workplace. So our college really is aimed at 11 to 19-year-olds. We have at the lower level between 11 and 14, Key Stage 3 education, GCSEs for 14 to 16-year-olds, A-levels at 16 plus, and the University Foundation programme, which is usually for 17 plus. So there are options to opt out of the Hong Kong diploma at various stages, excuse me, and move in. You can enter the school at any age along here as well. We're very flexible in terms of our entry points. Our university destinations for 2021, some examples are here, as well as some of the overseas universities as well. Over the recent years, we've had traditionally gone to red brick or very traditional older universities that have been here for hundreds of years. Famous Hong Kong alumni. So you may know some of these guys that were with us for a while. So you'll certainly know, if you're a football fan, you'll know some of the football teams, I'm sure. And Mark has certainly helped us. He was the international player, but he was captain of the Hong Kong team, this guy here, and he's helped us at some of the fairs in Hong Kong, the British Council fairs, and being very representative. And you can look them up and have a look and see where they are now, what they're doing.
Sorry, Karen, yeah, because our time need to move on to the other ones, and I think the PowerPoint can be shared with all the attendants after the meetings. And
sure. So just to round up and finish off then. Yeah. So again, we have a football academy, which is optional to run alongside the academics, and these are some of the international appearances that the footballers have been involved with, and there are plenty from Hong Kong here on this side. And really, that's it. I'm asking people to follow us and share, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and if you want any more information, speak to Top Courses, speak to me directly. We'll see what we can help you with. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for Karen share more about the Brookhouse College. 好多謝頭先 Karen 都 share 咗Brookhouse College 嘅資訊俾大家啦。咁嚟緊我哋會有第二間就係 This Education 嘅 Florence 去 share 翻 This Education 嘅。Hi Florence。 Hi, Rishi, welcome.
Hello，大家好。我係香港嘅，咁所以我諗我哋講返中文或者即係大家 familiar 一啲。我係咪會有個 PowerPoint 啊 ，Vivian？
係啊，你都可以，應該你而家可以，淨係你想自己 share 個 PowerPoint。
就喺你嗰度幫我開咗佢就可以啦。
好啊。
唔該晒。咁各位家長應該都係即係想睇多少資料啦，就有關於即係remove 過嚟英國呢一邊嘅升學啦，為咗啲小朋友係嘛？咁其實我個 PowerPoint 咧加上喺我哋學校嚟講啦，我哋嘅 Dual Education 咧，我哋會有好多嘅 Independent Day School 啦，同埋Private College。咁當中我其實都不能夠即係足夠嘅時間喺度逐一同大家介紹，咁我諗偏幫少少啦，講翻一啲嘅重點啦。咁如果有興趣嘅家長或者同學咧，咁可以同翻 Top Courses 呢邊嘅老師去做翻個 consultation。但係記緊一句啦，我諗始終都係睇翻自己嘅小朋友佢哋嗰個需要喺邊度？佢哋真係需要 support， 尤其係而家應該好大部分同學仔都係一啲插班生。咁唔該晒 Vivian 嚇。咁而家喺個 PowerPoint 嗰度會見到啦，我哋其實呢度而家你見到嘅包括係我哋嘅 Day School、Independent Day School 同埋College， 就係一啲 Sixth Form College。咁包括 location 就喺倫敦啦，喺南部嘅 Worthington 啦。大部分其實都係 London。我哋由 nursery 由真係0歲啊，咁去到18歲。咁而我哋嘅 Sixth Form 咧，咁個 location 就會喺 Cambridge 啦，喺 Kent 啦，喺 Cardiff 咁樣。咁簡單講啦，如果啲 nursery 啊、kindergarten 啊咁嗰啲咧，就真係 BB 啦。咁我諗大家就要着重睇翻即係嗰個照顧方面，咁揀翻一個即係適合啦，同埋近自己屋企會familiar 一啲，因為始終有陣時佢哋呢啲學校咧，佢哋會幾中意家長一齊去參與一啲嘅活動。咁如果你比較偏遠啊或者 remote area 咧，有可能家長們咧就會即係吃力多些少。咁而有某一啲咧就學校方面咧就淨係得 primary 啦，咁你就都要揾學校去轉翻做嗰個secondary， 即係中學部，甚至乎有啲學校係去到 GCSE， 跟住你就要揾學校去讀嗰個 A level。Vivian 幫我落下一個 slide 啊，唔該。咁呢度咧就會係我列低咗幾間我哋嘅 Sixth Form College 嗰度嗰個成績嚇。咁冇錯，我哋 Dual Education 亦都有即係全英 A Level Number 1嘅 result 學校 Cardiff Sixth Form College。咁你見到我哋嗰個成績啦，或者我哋嗰個出路啊，即係學生完咗 A Level 嗰個出路，有去 Worldwide Ranking Top 100嘅大學啦。咁其實當中so far 喺度做緊咧，都有多同學過嚟考 A Level，from 香港過嚟考 A Level， 跟住就翻去香港讀醫科、讀法律咁都有。咁而其他嘅就包括亦都有 Elscliffe 嘅 College 啦、Fine Art College 啦、Rochester 啦、St Andrews College 啦。咁再加上補充一句咧，我哋 Cardiff 咧其實喺嚟緊呢一年咧 ，academic year 應該講下一年嘅2022年9月，我哋會喺 Cambridge 開一個 centre， 咁就淨係provide 25個位俾 A level 嘅學生去即係 start 今年去 start 嘅。下一個 slide 唔該。咁呢個咧就會睇翻好多嘅ranking 啦、排名榜啦嚇，咁有家長都會即係對呢一方面好有興趣。咁我哋 Cardiff Sixth Form 咧都係排第一嘅。咁當然下一個 slide 咧就我都會想 emphasize，成績係好好，但係相對我哋會係 select 學生，我哋要同學考好多嘅面試啦、筆試啦。我哋要翻out 學生佢嗰個 academic 嘅 level 去再決定到底我哋可唔可以俾一個錄取信學生。咁有家長都有問到我同學喺 Cardiff 度讀書會唔會好大壓力啊？咁會有壓力，咁但係亦都咁講，其實學生如果考得過我哋嗰個入學試咧，其實我哋全部學生全球嚟嘅學生都係目標好清晰。讀書嘅氣氛非常非常之好，咁呢啲全部都係一啲嘅私立 中學，咁有住宿，咁加上如果係 BNO 身份 stage 嘅學生過嚟咧，其實我哋都會有一個 quota， 每一年我哋收生會有一個 quota， 就係 for 每一個 type 嘅唔係 nationalities 係嗰個情況，因為 TFO visa 同埋 BNO visa 或者 local student 嗰度，咁我哋都有一個number of student 限住。下一個 slide 唔該 Vivian。咁咧，另外一間咧就係 Rochester Independent College， 咁亦都係我哋 Duke Education 當中一間嘅 Sixth Form College， 佢個 location 就喺 Kent， 咁而佢 provide 緊嘅 GCSE subjects 即係中四、中五嗰2年嘅 subjects， 學生14歲、15歲讀嗰個 subjects 咧，佢多達有45個以上。咁而即係換言之 provide 到俾同學嘅選擇非常非常之多。咁再落去嘅 A level 咧一樣嚇，佢哋都會有好多40多個嘅唔同嘅 subjects 俾同學揀翻。加上 Rochester 咧，其實我哋同泰國政府亦都做咗一個好好嘅 program， 佢每一年泰國政府會保送一啲嘅 scholar 嘅學生去到我哋 Rochester 嗰度完成個 A level 或者係讀 GCSE。咁呢度就睇翻同學仔即係每一個嘅需要 preference 去到邊一度。下一個 slide 唔該。突然間冇咗聲，而家翻嚟啦。咁就 location 響Kent Folkestone， 咁就海邊城市。呢個學校規模比較細些少，大概150個學生。咁但係佢嘅好處亦都係有A level， 有 GCSE， 有 foundation program。咁有唔同嘅 nationalities，European student 會比較多翻些少。咁佢哋5年前啦，應該咁有一個學生咧去考10科 A level 啊，咁佢最尾攞到最優異嘅成績，就去咗美國 Stanford University full scholarship 去讀佢嘅 degree。咁我哋會有呢一類嘅學生響 Elscript 嗰度出現啦、發生啦，我哋嘅老師亦都 fully support 呢一類型嘅同學仔。唔該 Vivian， 下一個 slide。咁另外一間咧就係 St Andrews College， 咁位於就係 Cambridge 嚇。咁而家你相嗰度睇到咧就係我哋2個嘅校舍。其實我哋仲有多個校舍響大概3分鐘步行嘅 distance。咁喺我哋 St Andrews 呢度咧，我哋提供緊有 A level， 有 A level， 有 GCSE。咁就會睇翻同學仔嗰個需要。佢可以住我哋宿舍，或者住 homestay， 甚至乎住你自己屋企都可以。咁視乎翻即係各家長你哋嗰個 planning 啦。咁加上當然啦 ，Cambridge 嗰個環境係非常非常之靚，好方便。大學城劍橋大學超過800年以上㗎啦。咁就嗰個學術氣氛係非常非常好。其實我前2日先喺 Cambridge 嗰度翻嚟，咁我自己好中意個環境啦嚇。咁都係講嗰句，睇翻同學仔嗰個需要，佢哋要嘅 support 係乜嘢？因為我會成日覺得家長你哋安排小朋友同佢哋一齊過嚟讀書，某程度上做咁多嘅 movement， 都係希望同學仔多少少嘅 opportunity， 多少少出路，係嘛？唔該 Vivian。咁另外一間 Fine Art College 咁 location 就喺 London 喺 Hampstead。咁喺呢間學校裏邊咧，我哋有203個同學仔，咁90% 都會係 local British student。咁呢度會有好多 drama 嘅 program 啦，有 fine art 啦、fashion 啦。咁而家 Candy 咧，即係喺個 slides 裏邊啊 ，Candy 咧就係我哋嘅校長，佢幫我哋 run 咗學校好多年㗎啦。咁就經驗好好啦。咁我哋而家喺呢度咧就nationality 好強，加上咧亦都有好多 alumni 嘅即係舊生嘅家長係一啲名人嚟嘅嚇，咁有啲麥當娜個女會喺呢度讀書啊。我哋踢足球 David Beckham 佢嗰個仔啊 Brooklyn 又喺度 A level 啊。咁我哋會有呢一類嘅同學仔喺呢度完成佢嘅 graphic design 啊、fine art 啊、drama 都有 academic program 嘅，有數學有英文。咁學生亦都要選擇住翻響自己屋企度，即係同家長一齊居住都可以嘅。唔該 Vivian。咁呢個係最後一個 slide 啦。咁其實我諗我哋 Duke Education 咧比較強嘅都會係一啲Sixth Form college， 咁就會提供緊有2年 GCSE、2年 A level， 咁視乎翻學生嗰個情況而定啦。咁我諗喺英國讀書，你有4年嘅 preparation， 進入咗大學，一般嘅 degree 就係3年。咁基本上，如果你真係個 foundation 做得好咧，咁其實你入一啲 top 嘅 university 咧，應該都會幾穩陣嘅，好嘛？咁多謝晒大家 ，thank you。咁我將個時間俾翻阿 Vivian， 唔該晒。
Thank you 晒 Florence。咁如果家長有興趣，其實知道多啲，或者可以我哋呢個 meeting 完咗之後，我哋可以 open 另一個 chat room 俾你同 Florence 啊，或者 contact 佢再講多啲，了解多啲都 OK 嘅。咁好啦，咁我哋而家請第3間啦，就係 Law Engineer Education 嘅 Rianne 同我哋 share 下究竟間學校係點咧？So now we welcome Rianne from the Law Engineer Education to share about the school. Hi, Rianne.
Hi there, thank you. So I think I'm just gonna try and share my screen instead. That's okay. Okay, hope you can all see that. So yeah, thank you for having me today. My name is Rianne and I work for Nord Anglia Education. And today I'm going to, in 10 minutes, try and cover the 3 schools that we offer in the UK. So hopefully I'll have enough time. So for you, Nord Anglia itself has over 76 schools worldwide, but today I'm just going to focus on the schools that we have that are based in the UK, and all of them are actually in the city of Oxford. So obviously a very historic city for their educational opportunities. So firstly, Doverbrooks is a leading independent school in Oxford, and it offers boarding school experience, but kind of quite a fresh approach to teaching. So there's no uniforms, and the student and staff are on a first name basis. So it's a little bit different from more of a traditional kind of what you might think of a traditional boarding school in the UK. So the school is split into 3 parts. So there is a day school, which is just for UK day students. We also then have an international school, which houses our students aged 11 to 16. So students that are doing kind of years 7 to 11 of the UK education system. And as the name would suggest, this is for boarding international students, and students kind of staying up until year 11 will be completing their IGCSE here. And then lastly, we have the 6th form college, which is for all students 16 to 18 years old. And at this 6th form, it's a 50-50 split of UK and international students, and a 50-50 split of day and boarding students as well. And students here will be completing A levels. So as you can see, this is the kind of typical progression route for students starting in the international school, then moving to a UK 6th form, which may be the Doverbrooks 6th form or elsewhere, and then eventually progressing to a top UK or other university. So an overview of some of the stats for the school, 88% of students achieved A star to B at A level. We are the top school in Oxfordshire for progress at A level, and in the top 1% of all schools in England. We have around 690 students over the kind of international school and 6th form, with a student staff ratio of 8 to 1 and 11 students maximum per class. So one of the great things about Doverbrooks is it has a wide variety of A-level subjects to choose from. So we have over 35 different options, including various language options. There's also art-related courses. We've actually just opened our new art centre. So there's lots of different arts options. And some unique options that not all schools are, may necessarily have, such as music technology. And in addition to academic subjects, there are also several clubs and societies to choose from. So people can be involved in, drama and dance productions, in art, and as well as various sports. So, for example, we have a tennis academy for any keen tennis players. So Doverbrooks is really interested in developing the students into kind of, independent and proactive people, and the Director of Studies is there to help with all aspects of school life. So from academic, pastoral care, also involved with helping for the university applications. And as you'll see from the next slide, our students have been very successful in top university placements. So the majority of our students do go on to study at university in the UK. And you can see here a list of the kind of top places where people have gone to, so UCL and King's College being the top ones. And then also in this year 2021, we placed 4 students into Oxbridge as well. So swiftly moving on, I want to talk to you about Oxford International College, which is a selective school for students really with the highest aspirations for top careers and university destinations. So OIC is led by Yasmin, who previously founded Cardiff Sixth Form College and then moved to Oxford to kind of bring her energy and enthusiasm to Oxford. And in 2019, we became the best performing college in the country for A-level results with 91.84 A-star and A grades. And obviously 2019 was the last year where actual exams were held in the UK, kind of pre-COVID pandemic. So the academic programs that are on offer, there's a small cohort of students that can do a 1-year GCSE course, but the majority of students will be starting a 2-year A-level. We do also offer a 5-term A-level if students would like to start in January instead of September. The subject options are a little bit more limited compared to Dover-Brooks, because most students, for example, will take mathematics, and the subjects that people choose will be very much geared towards what they want to kind of study at university. So as you would expect for a college with great A-level results, students are continuing on to top universities in the UK, but also in the US and Hong Kong, for example. We have 100% success rate to medical schools in the UK. And in 2021, we sent 7 students to Oxbridge as well. So in order for students to kind of progress to these top universities, there are a lot of super curricular, as we call it, or career-centered activity to help students achieve their goals. So students at this college have quite a packed schedule with additional testing taking place on a Saturday. Students will, where required for kind of university applications, will take work placements, additional subject testing, take part in trips, competitions, university fairs. So it's a very kind of packed schedule, as I said. And yeah, full board is available for students in all of the colleges that we offer. We've recently opened a new accommodation block called Student Castle, which is a very modern complex in the heart of Oxford. And it has great facilities. There's a gym for students. It's really quite an amazing space. And lastly, we'll talk about Oxford Sixth Form College. So Oxford Sixth Form College, again, it's in Oxford and has majority international students from over 40 different nationalities, but with around 25% of British students, so who may be attending as a day student. So it's based in the heart of Oxford, as I said, and the boarding houses are also very close by as well. So we offer a standard 2-year A-level course, but there are also some other options. So students can do a 1-year A-level or a 5-term A-level as well. So for example, if we've had a number of students who may have started out in a more traditional boarding school, but didn't really like that environment, so they've switched into the 5-term or the 1-year A-level, depending on how far along they were in their course. And as you can see there, Oxford Sixth Form has very small class sizes. So there's a maximum of 8 students with an average of 5 students per class. This really helps to kind of improve the students and add value to them whilst they're here. So as I said, the small class sizes is reflective of the great kind of value that we're adding to a student when they come to study here. And again, we are in the top 1% of schools in England for progress at A-levels. As well as A-levels, we also offer a Btec course, which can be an alternative to A-levels or studied alongside A-levels, and it helps to gain entry into 95% of UK universities. So it's a good option for students who maybe prefer a more vocational way of working, less pressure on exams, but more focus on coursework. And one of the key things about Oxford Sixth Form is that everybody is assigned a senior tutor who will be the one person for students, parents and agents to contact with anything regarding their child. So anything from academic, pastoral support, university applications, monitoring attendance, all that kind of thing. And just a list of some of the destinations from this year that students have gone on to. So it really is quite varied here. This school is a little bit less selective than the other two that I've mentioned previously. So we cater for a real range of different options that people of progression that students might be looking for. And just a couple more things. Students can be involved in lots of extracurricular. There isn't necessarily sports facilities and things on the campus, but students are able to use the facilities within University of Oxford, which is very, very close by. The college is very, very near. And one of the main things, which is I think the most impressive, is that students can become a member of the Oxford Union, which is a very prestigious debating society, which you may be aware of, and has had really amazing previous guests in the past. So that's it. I hope you found that useful. You can see my contact details there if you would like to follow up with me, but of course you can follow up with the Top Courses team as well. Each of our schools do have an official WeChat account, so if you would like to get kind of regular updates, things, and that would be a really good place to check. So hopefully you can see that on screen now. And thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Marie. 多謝 Leah 同你 share 啦。咁我哋最後一間咧就係 Acs International School 嘅 Anastasia 同我哋去 share 翻Acs School 嘅。咁完咗呢個 session 之後啦，咁記住留意我哋最尾咧就會有英國移民同埋物業顧問咧去分享翻究竟買賣樓啊，究竟有咩注意，所以可以留到去最尾嘅。Hi, welcome Anastasia from the Acs International School. Hi, Anastasia.
Thank you so much for welcoming me and for the introduction. Hello to everyone, to all families who have joined us today. And today I will be talking to you not only as the Vice Dean of Admissions at Acs Cobham International School. I will also be talking to you as a parent and as an expert who moved to the UK and who have gone through placing my child at a day school in the UK, then opting for a traditional British school and ending up with choosing an international school for my child. So Acs International Schools is a group of schools. We have 4 campuses in the UK, 3 campuses in the UK. 2 of them are day schools only. They're named Acs Egham and Acs Hillingdon. And the campus you see on your screen at the moment, it's Acs Cobham. This is our only campus that has boarding facilities, and I will be talking about it a little bit later. But while you have this slide on your screen, I wanted to mention that this is a very safe campus. You can see boarding accommodation here in the heart of the screenshot. So all students live on campus and it's a very safe place. But nevertheless, let me move to our day campuses first. I know that now with the BNO in place, many of you are thinking about moving to England, and we of course want to help you to make your move a success. So 2 of our, well, basically all 3 of our campuses offer day education for children starting from age of 2 and until they graduate. Our campuses are nicely located around London in Surrey County. So in most cases, you will be about 20-30 minutes away from central London. So you can enjoy the buzz of the city living and have good transport links and enjoy all that London can offer to you. Galleries, West End shows, performances, historical places. It's very nice to have this proximity to London, but at the same time, if you move and decide to live in Surrey, which is one of the greenest and the most beautiful counties and probably the most affluent county in the UK, you can enjoy the suburban life with better air and nice houses and lovely spacious gardens that most houses have, safety and privacy, but also nice local towns that keep the heritage and boast cultural, traditional British cultural vibe. This slide shows you where our families live. So you can see color-coded pins, yellow, blue, and green. So it shows where our Hillingdon families live, our Egham and Green Cobham families live. So it's all around Heathrow Airport and also very close to central London. So just to name you some areas, so families live in Cobham, Esher, Weybridge, Wimbledon, Uxbridge, Chiswick, Ascot. I'm sure you've heard all of these names. So for families who are planning to come to the United Kingdom as on B&O passport, we are happy to help with education, day education for your children, but also for those families who do not plan to move to England and would like to choose great education for their children in the UK. We offer boarding in our Cobham campus. Our Cobham campus is only half an hour away from central London, the same distance from Heathrow and Gatwick airports. It's a safe campus with 7-day and 24-hour security. People can access the campus only by presenting a photo ID. It's a co-educational school. We're non-religious and we do not have uniform. Originally, the school was founded as a school for children of American diplomats who come to live and work in London. But very quickly, we grew into an international school and we became one of the first schools that introduced IB to this country. And we have nearly 50 years experience teaching IB. So students who join us can benefit from studying international baccalaureate or American program. So we are not a traditional British school that offers A-level and GCSE. Our curriculum is different. So is different our student body. You can see on this slide our student body composition. Our first nationality is British, followed by Americans, and we have families from other parts of the world. They're all local families who come to London on permanent basis and they live here permanently. And maybe even their children were born in the UK, but originally these families may come from those 70 countries that our campus represents. The beauty of international community, in my opinion, is that it's a very friendly place. International families do not need to find their own spot in this niche. Everyone is welcoming, everyone will look after you, everyone will understand your needs and will understand the needs of your child because every family has been through the same journey as you are. So like I already mentioned, we offer American high school diploma, international baccalaureate diploma, and US college advanced placement courses. I understand that these programs may need further explanation, but I will be available if you need me to talk you through about these programs. So I'm just a little bit conscious of time, so I would like to jump straight to our results. Last year, we were really proud of our huge graduation class. We had 160 students who graduated with 100% pass rate and the average IB score of 37. 11% of our students graduated with bilingual diploma, including in Chinese, Dutch, Italian, and Swedish. So families who decide to send their children to ACS from Hong Kong will be able to benefit from choosing Cantonese as one of the languages. 49% of our graduates last year scored 38 or above in IB exams. This means that they all went to the universities of their first choice. I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that if your child chooses American program, it doesn't mean that they have to go to American university, because 121 universities in the UK recognize US secondary qualification, secondary education qualification, and we have a dedicated university counseling department with Dr. Hinchley organizing about 350 universities visit on campus. So every child who is in our care, who studies at ACS Cobham, has a benefit of meeting university admissions officers, professors, lecturers in face on campus without a need to go anywhere else. And we are quite specialist in helping children to go to universities anywhere in the world. Most of our students stay in the UK, about 60%. We have about 30% going to US every year, but another 10% will go elsewhere in the world. There are opportunities to gain scholarships at ACS. We are a broadly selective school, and we are not restricting the areas where your child may show us how outstanding they are. It may be music, maybe sport, maybe academics, or maybe some charity work. You tell us, and your child tells us where they are outstanding, and we will be happy to consider their application. I forgot to mention that for day students, for B&O families, it is possible to get a bursary that ranges from 10% to 100% discount. So please inquire if you are planning to move to the UK. So I will show you a few slides with some great facilities. The Good School inspectors wrote in their report that ACS has facilities to die for. And on campus, we have a film studio, we have naturally lit spacious art studios, we have IT labs all equipped with Apple computers. We have 510-seat theater with flight tower, a music school that has individual music practice rooms, music recording studio. Our sports facilities are fascinating. We have Olympic-sized track. We have 6 football pitches, 2 rugby fields, 6 tennis courts, semi-Olympic size swimming pool, and BA size basketball arena. So it doesn't matter what your child is into, whether it's art, drama, music, we have something for everyone, whether they like robotics, engineering, or whether they like languages. So just really a few words about the boarding. This slide shows the composition of our boarding nationalities. In boarding, we have 160 students represented by 35 nationalities. I like that in boarding, we have not so many students. So it's like a home family within a larger school where students can make friendships with local children, but they also get very dedicated attention from our boarding team, from house parents and residential tutors. Our teacher to student ratio in boarding is 1 to 7. I'm sure that not many schools in this country can boast the same ratio. Every student has an individual supervisor, and we also have teachers of academic subjects who live on campus and support our boarding students on a daily basis. So academic support really stretches beyond the school, it stretches into the boarding. we are very proud of our enrichment program. We offer more than 50 clubs. Students may join law society, medical club, bioengineering club, debating, creative writing. We even have origami club. So again, it doesn't matter what your child is into, we have something for everyone. During the weekends, we organize lots of team building trips. Where we are located, it's very easy for us to go to London, to go to Oxford, to go to Cambridge. We organize fun activities like paintballing, bowling, pizza nights, discos, karaoke. And you can see on this slide some really happy faces of students really enjoying their life and boarding. So these are just, again, because I'm conscious of time, I don't want to take too much of your time, and also I'm aware there are other speakers. So these are just a couple of pictures of our accommodation. Our accommodation is brand new. We built senior boarding house only 3 years ago. When families visit us, they say it's like a 5-star hotel. All students live in ensuite rooms, and the maximum number of students per room is 2, and senior students live in single rooms. So, and a few words about COVID. Here in the UK, we are really so used to it. And I know while there are the travel restrictions, we know how to look after our children. We have a dedicated medical center with 3 full-time nurses. We have sick bays, isolation rooms. We are able to provide quarantine facilities for all our boarding students. We have contract with a local laboratory, so our students can take day 2, day 5, day 8, fit to fly test right on campus without leaving the boarding. And we're also an excellent school according to independent school inspection. You may be aware that independent school inspection, ISI, is the top authority for independent schools. ACS is a charity. We invest all our profit into school developments, and by recognition of ISI, we're an excellent school for boarding, for achievement of our students, for spiritual and moral support, and quality of governance. So thank you very much for your attention. And in the chat, I have left my email address, and you're welcome to get in touch with me directly or with professionals and experts in overseas education at Top Courses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jeanette, to share about ACS International School. 好開心今日分享咗有4間學校可以分享到佢哋關於佢哋學校啦，究竟了解多啲私立學校係點啦。咁其實咧英國仲有好多唔同嘅學校嘅，咁我哋如果大家有興趣啦，或者可以呢個 meeting 完咗之後，可以約翻我哋做翻個免費 one-on-one 嘅 consultation 啦，了解多啲學校同埋你哋會有乜嘢需要嘅。咁我哋而家就好開心可以請到2間英國移民顧問咧，同我哋分享下究竟唔同買賣物業有咩注意啊？究竟 catchment area 又係點樣啊？咁我哋首先就請 Catering 嘅 Chris 同 May 先。Hi Chris and May。
係。咁首先我會講先嘅，係啦。
係啊。咁May咧，其實佢自己都有 YouTube channel， 可能大家都有睇過關於。
係啊，用埋下。
你哋想自己 share 個 PowerPoint 定係？
或者你 share。
好啊，得啦。
你 share。
Oh, do you want us to share it? Oh.
Chris, would you prefer Vivian to share it?
No, it's okay. If Vivian could just share hers, that's fine.
Yes, that's great. 咁或者我講一講開場白先。咁首先好多謝 Top Courses 邀請我哋參加一個 seminar 啦。咁我哋本身係一個relocation consultant 嘅公司叫做 Tutor。咁其實我哋依家已經幫咗好多香港嘅家庭喺英國買屋啊、自住啊、投資啊，甚至乎幫佢哋租屋啦。咁首先好快講一講背景，我相信大家都好攰。咁我個名就叫美儀，咁我本身都喺香港出世長大啦。咁16歲咧，我就當其時即係移民潮嚟嘅，咁就成家就搬咗去加拿大溫哥華。咁大學畢業翻嚟香港做嘢，做咗好多年㗎，唔好問我幾多年。咁但係咧，大概5年前到啦，咁我就決定搬嚟英國。咁所以我自己高呼咗喺唔同階段做出呢啲咁嘅決定啦，所以我係完全好理解 大家嗰個艱難啊、憂慮啊，又擔心自己揀到一邊，亦都好擔心小朋友佢哋嘅將來咯。咁其實我哋唔單止十分之熱愛英國嘅 property 啦，咁其實我哋成立呢間公司都盡量係想可以幫到大家減低壓力啊，同埋幫助喺買屋或者租嘅時候個過程可以順利少少咯。咁我一陣間會交俾我嘅 business partner Chris， 咁佢會有自我介紹啦，咁佢都會做個 presentation， 咁我哋都會留低我哋嘅 email address， 咁到時如果有咩問題都可以聯絡我哋嘅。Hi Chris.
Hi.
Are you ready to introduce yourself? And
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so hi everybody. My name's Chris. I work alongside Mei Yi. So I've worked in the property industry now for over 12 years. I'm very passionate about property and also as well about helping others to find the right property for them. So we've helped many Hong Kong families move over to the UK. Many families have many different budgets, different requirements. The requirements could be the best quality of life for them and the family, a speedy commute, or it could be top schools. So the things what we found, what are mainly we discuss with our clients, the things they want to consider more than anything else. It could be the actual house prices in the area, the actual budget, the crime in the area, if there's any flooding, the transport network, of course, schools, job opportunities, lifestyle, and also as well the type of property. So I thought I'd just briefly discuss all these and we can just go through each individual one. So as you may be aware, there's many different types of property within the UK. You have a terraced house, for example, which is a row of houses, we're all connected and they all share the same side walls. Now they're generally the cheapest property within the UK. You then have a semi-detached property, which is two properties attached to each other and they just share the same inside wall. You then have a detached property, which is generally more expensive than a semi-detached as well as terraced. They generally have larger homes as well as in more rural and suburban areas. Then you also have what we call a bungalow. So a bungalow is a single-story property. They typically can also have windows in the roof, which is called a dormer. But what we found is some of our clients have been looking at bungalows because it's good for the elderly. So if you bring in an elderly relative along with you, because it's a single floor, it's a lot easier for them to get around the actual property as well. Now, we do have as well a cottage. So a cottage is a very, not very small, but small property. They're generally in the countryside. And these in the Middle Ages and used for agricultural workers. So you tend to find more thicker walls, smaller windows to withstand the harsh weather. But you generally find they do come with quite a lot of land. And also as well, we do have blocks of flats, as obviously people from Hong Kong will be well aware, the advantages and disadvantages of obviously flats. So then we've got crime. Now we always get asked about crime and you can get a lot of various different crime data online. This one we're showing, for example, is highlighting the concentration of different crime within an area. So this is an area in Birmingham. So again, it's really good to obviously do a little bit of research on this. Something to be aware of though is some websites don't necessarily have all the up-to-date crime. So I'd always double check just to make sure it is the latest. You can also then as well look at regional prices. So you may decide now to look at a specific region. So here you can have a look at the different towns and cities. This is the northwest of England. It'll give you indication of the average asking price, the annual change in the price as well, number of transactions, and to see if the transactions have increased or actually decreased. Flooding. Now we get asked a lot about flooding, and this is a open data website where you can actually just type in any postcode or an area and it'll give you the flood analysis. So this is an area in Warrington, it's highlighting here. Obviously you can see the various different colours. This will highlight, for example, what we call an in-year event. So this is showing a 1 in 1,000 year storm and the expectations of the actual flood. But again, if you are looking at a property possibly in the flood area, I'd always get maybe a more in-depth flood report because sometimes it's not as bad as what it may first appear. You've also got transport. Now the UK is quite good for transport links. There's 11 tram systems in the UK. They're in Edinburgh, you've got them in Dublin, London, West Midlands, Sheffield, Manchester, Tyne and Wear, Nottingham, Blackpool, Glasgow. So we tend to find some clients like to be near a tram network, which is great, but then also as well, you've got a good infrastructure of rail network, as well as also various bus routes. But something else to consider as well is the reason why you're actually moving to the area. It could be you want to live in the big city because you used to obviously live with Hong Kong, or a smaller city living because you may be working there with obviously for your job opportunity, but you may want to live near a beach. You may want to live somewhere that offers a lot of sporting access. You may maybe want to move there because obviously the education, and also as well, it may be possibly the countryside as well. We often get asked about employment opportunities. So what we found in the past is the most in-demand industries are generally nursing and medical, IT and computing, you've got financial accounting, engineering as well as one, blue collar, construction and biotechnology. But at the moment, there is a high demand for jobs currently in the UK, which is obviously good news. So then we look at catchment areas. So a catchment area is basically a defined geographical area, what a school will have, where the children would need to live, obviously, to attend that school. So what you find is if you're looking for a property within a defined catchment area of a good school, generally those properties are worth more than what you find with a property that is not in the geographical area. But a lot of Hong Kong people be aware of this website called Catering, which is a really good website. Gives you an idea about Ofsted ratings. It gives you an idea about admissions, if it's oversubscribed, GCSE results. Also, as well, it gives you an indication of the actual distance of the catchment area. So you can see here, this is a high school in Chester called Crystalline High School, very good high school. And their catchment area is 2.53 miles. So you'd assume that if you lived within the green, you'd attend the school. However, this is a live data from this year of where generally the pupils live for Crystalline High School. So in the red, that's where majority of actual students live. Yellow is less likely than green. Again, less likely again with that. Now, we always advise, and we always check ourselves, is the council's website. So this is the actual defined catchment area for this Crystalline High School. You can see it in the blue lines there, in the similar shape to the last slide. So if you don't live in that area, the chances are that you will not get in. So we always advise, if you are doing your research, Catering is really good, gives you a good idea about the actual distance, but always check the local council website as well. Not all of them will have it, but just make sure you do check it just to ensure that you cover them, your child will get into that school. So you've done all your considerations now. You know, obviously, about the house prices. You looked at the crime type of property. Now it's the time to actually search for that property in the UK. So the most common way people search in the UK as well as overseas is what we call web portals or property portals. The three most common, the biggest one is Rightmove, then you have Zoopla, and then you've got On the Market, but there is other ones also consider as well. Now you found your house, and I just want to explain the differences with purchasing a house in the UK compared to obviously Hong Kong. So the process of transferring legal ownership from the seller to the buyer is known as conveyancing in the UK. So you need a solicitor or a conveyancing professional to do the conveyancing for you. The seller and buyer each pay their own legal fees for the conveyancing. Once the price has been agreed with the estate agent, then the estate agent will create what we call a memorandum of sale. This serves a similar purpose through a provisional agreement for sale and purchase, or a PASP in Hong Kong. But it's not legally binding. That's the main thing to think about. You do not have to pay a deposit at this stage, although you may have to pay a reservation fee at this stage if you were purchasing a new build property. Once your solicitors have checked everything, they will do what we call an exchange date. So this is known as formal agreement for sale and purchase. You need to pay a non-refundable deposit. Now, there's two different types of property basically in the UK. You've got freehold and you've got leasehold. So a freehold property is basically you own the property, but also the land on it. The leasehold, again, you obviously own the property, but the lease is right to occupy the land from the freeholder. So you would have to probably pay a leasehold fee on a yearly basis. It may not be a large amount, but it's something obviously you need to be aware of. Stamp duty. So stamp duty or stamp duty land tax, we call it abbreviation of SDLT, is a tax payable by buyers on UK property. Stamp duty is payable as a percentage of the sale price. So if you already own a property in the UK, you'll have to pay an additional 3% of the SDLT. And if you're overseas buyer, it's a non-residential rate SDC of 2%. So again, that's something to bear in mind with stamp duty. Other potential costs as well is council tax. So this is an annual charge from our local council services, similar to the government rates in Hong Kong. It's based on the value of your property, and if you're renting, that's usually paid by the tenant as well. Service charges is then something obviously with the flats as well. So you're looking at rental now. So this is things to consider if you're looking for rental property first, because some of our clients do move over and then rent for a year. So if you're looking at a deposit, so each one you pay a deposit. If the annual rent is less than £50,000 a year, the maximum deposit you would need to pay is 5 weeks. So always ensure it never goes over 5 weeks. Then you need to consider how long your tenancy is going to be. Minimum is usually 6 months, but generally in the UK, it's a 12-month agreement. But we are finding that landlords and estate agents are asking for Hong Kong renters to pay the full 12 months in advance. Then consider which area you're looking to move in. And do you have the documents ready? So if you are looking at getting the documents ready, look at immigration status, your credit history, and identity as well. So let's just look at the current market analysis. So this is what I've looked at for the last 12 months in regards to rolling. So for example, you can look at the biggest one we've got is Northwest, which is 12% increase year on year. Southwest has done well in regards to property sales. London has suffered quite a lot this year, only increase of 4.3%. So again, just do some work and analysis on this. Again, you can look at it from a, sorry, next slide. Yeah, so then you can look at it from again, from regional analysis. Look at, obviously we've got here is the average asking price, the annual change, number of transactions, as well as the difference in change on the transactions as well. The next slide is interesting as well, because basically it's taken a lot less time now to actually purchase a house than what it did in the past. So as you can see now, it's 36 days. So again, if you are planning to come to the UK, I would expect, if you're overseas, to expect a quick sale. And then from there, then obviously just make sure you plan yourself properly to ensure that you've got the funds in place or a mortgage in place when you're looking at purchasing. And then the rental market. So overall, the rental market's seen a 6% increase in rental fees. London is 1.6, and the rest of the UK, excluding London, is 4.6%. On average, a rental now is 15 days, and your average rent is £968 per month. I thought it'd be interesting to highlight this as well, because COVID has hit the cities hard in regards to the high street shops. But what this is indicating really is it's looking at footfall as well as spend. And this is done by the Centre for Cities and Locomiser. So the small and medium-sized and large towns have recovered well. The large cities, however, are struggling because obviously there's an upward trend in remote working. So if you are looking, obviously, at these different areas, for example, York, you can see there's a lot more spend in York than there was previously compared to maybe the larger cities. So I'd just like to say thank you. If you get any questions, obviously, regarding Hong Kong or living in the UK, May's child actually goes to an independent school. So yeah, by all means, if you have any more questions, then please get in touch or drop a message in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris。好多謝 Chris 同 May 去分享啦。咁如果你哋想知道咧，或者可以完咗之後，咁我哋可以再傾多啲啦，或者揾翻我哋 Top Course 去關於問翻多啲學校亦都 OK 嘅。咁我哋而家請最後啦，就係 Gumbrand 嘅 Stephen 去講下，佢哋主要都會講下翻蘇格蘭方面嘅。Hi Stephen。 咁 Stephen 本身咧，佢自己都係喺教育超過30年啦，佢自己亦都會出咗9本書嘅，我學大家都可能會睇過。Hi, Stephen.
Hello, Vivian. Thank you very much for introducing me. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Edinburgh. We're in the late afternoon here, and the sun is starting to go down. I'd like to thank Chris very much for giving a lot of information about the UK property scene. We specialise here in Scotland. We're mainly in Edinburgh, but we're also present in Aberdeen and also in Dundee. And we also have representatives down in Manchester and also London. Most of the things which Chris has mentioned are pretty much the same for in Scotland, although there are a few differences. For example, we have different things such as home reports versus surveys. These are all quite small things and which can be easily discussed later on. What I would like to talk about more is to give you a quick overview of Scotland and Edinburgh's independent school scene and also property markets. I first was sent to an independent school at the age of 9 as a day boy, not a boarding, as a boarder. And that's given me a lot of experience, of course, in what exactly an independent school gives. Edinburgh is quite unique amongst all cities in Britain in that more than 20% of the entire student population here goes to independent schools. As I'm sure many of you do understand, Edinburgh has a lot of independent schools. In fact, there are more than 12. And some of the most famous ones like Fettes, Merchiston, Castle, etc., are of course boarding schools as well. The advantage that these schools give is that they also allow you to take the Scottish system. It also allows you to take the A-levels, and it also allows you to do the IB. Of course, not all the independent schools do this, and you would need to check up. There's also quite a difference in other matters as well. For example, here in Scotland, if you have been resident in Scotland for more than 3 years, your child will be entitled to free education at university. And that would obviously make life much, much easier for quite a lot of people. Now, the difference in Edinburgh property and as considered to a lot of other property markets is that Edinburgh is quite unique in that it has actually a very, very small market of new homes. Most homes in Edinburgh, because of the situation of lack of supply and also of the fact that Edinburgh is a World Heritage, it means that a lot of buildings here are listed and cannot simply be pulled down in order to make new buildings. So therefore, older buildings such as schools, hospitals, university buildings have all been turned into highly desirable residences. The other thing to consider about Edinburgh is that there is huge competition here because of the shortage of housing and also because of the increase in population in general, because population predictions have seen a projection of 30,000, an increase of 30,000 people by the year 2030. However, Edinburgh does not have that amount of housing, which means that in general, Edinburgh housing is the most expensive in Scotland. It is, however, not as expensive as the rest of Britain. Certainly when you compare it to the southeast of England, to places like London, Cambridge, Oxford, etc., you would find that the average price here in Scotland, certainly in Edinburgh anyway, is half of that. And in other areas such as Dundee, Aberdeen, for example, where I went to school at Robert Gordon's College, the average house price there is much, much lower than it is in almost any other major city of that particular size in Britain at this particular time. Aberdeen, of course, was very successful when it came to oil, but now these things are changing. What that also means now is that the competition for property is becoming extremely high. It is not uncommon for 40 or 50 people to turn up to view a property here in Edinburgh. The main reason being, unlike England, is that here we have home reports. A home report is actually made by the seller. The seller must pay for the home report. And so every person who wishes to buy can simply ask for a home report. Unlike England, where you would have to go to a surveyor every single time in order to make an offer on a house. Here, all you simply have to do is to ask for a home report of that particular house. In Edinburgh, currently, possibly because of the pandemic, we find that on average, property sells within 16 days, just 16 days. That's a very, very short time. It also means, of course, that the rental market is extremely busy and very much in demand. Just recently in the news, there was a flat in Edinburgh in which over 600 people applied for that one flat. Edinburgh, as you know, is not just the capital of Scotland, it is also a huge cultural city. We have festivals, we have the Fringe, we have more than 30,000 students, and that means that the rental market is an extremely busy one, and therefore yields are very, very good. It would be fair to say that if you buy property here to rent, that you would not really have much problems in renting out that particular property. Lastly, I would just like to say that because we have many, many independent schools here, it also means that there are many different parts of Edinburgh which you can live in order to attend those particular schools. With independent schools, there are no catchment areas, of course, but we have often seen that due to the different nature of the different independent schools here in Edinburgh, ranging from the biggest and the most famous, such as, for example, Fetis, Merchiston Castle, to the lesser known ones, such as perhaps Stuart's Melvilles, George Watson's. All of these independent schools are all in specific areas in Edinburgh. And that means that families tend to buy in those particular areas because there's a certain lifestyle and there's a certain choice of what people want. So I'm very happy today to have been given a chance by Top Course. Thank you very much, Vivian and Mauzi, to give a little bit brief introduction of what we do. Glenburn is a company that specializes in relocating Hong Kong people here to Scotland. In the past year, we've handled more than 24 families. And if you'd like to go to our website, Glenburn, either on Facebook or our own website, you can read some of the reviews of quite a lot of the Hong Kong people that have arrived. My Cantonese, I'm afraid, is not so good. I do speak some, but please be reassured, my team in Hong Kong, we have 2 people in Hong Kong. They speak absolutely perfect Cantonese and Mandarin. Over here in Britain, we have another 4 native Cantonese speakers as well. And so if I'm ever in trouble and I'm not quite able to understand what it is perhaps that some of you are asking, then please ask and I will get one of my team, one of my staff to come and translate and help you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you all for joining our seminar today and sharing the information to the parents. 好多謝，再次多謝大家今日參